Hi everyone, it's Raina. So this is going to be a two-part video on the full moon in Libra because this is also the astrological new year on the 20th or 21st of March, depending on where you live in the world. And so I want to give it extra emphasis because I do think it's a very powerful time. It always is when we go into a new season at the equinoxes and the solstices, but now we have this full moon happening at 0 degrees of Libra, and that is going to be on the same day. And I really feel like this can make it almost more like a new moon in a lot of ways, because we have the new year and then the 0 degree of the full moon, which is kind of the unknown. And there will be a second full moon in Libra next month at 29 degrees of Libra on April 19th. Obviously, I'm not going to talk about that now, but the 0 degree now and then the 29th degree then. I mean, that's pretty interesting. And so Libra, the sign that rules the 7th house of committed partnership, the sign that is ruled by Venus. So there's that strong romantic connection, but it can be any kind of partnership that we are involved with. And it can also be about beauty because of the connection with Venus. It can be about elegance and refinement and aesthetics and fairness is Libra, and, balance and things like that. So let's talk about the astrology here, the astrological new year. What is it that you want to plant seeds for the coming 12 months? And knowing that this is a full moon in Libra and a very potent period, because the full moon is a time of great fertility. So, people that want to conceive children, that might be a very good time for that as well. But thinking in terms of what Libra represents, if you're looking for love, what kind of loving person are you? Are you the kind of person that is able to show others how you care in a demonstrable way? Are you somebody who is fair to your partner? Are you gracious? Do you treat them with respect? Do you look for people who have those qualities that Libra represents, who are polite? I was reading once where they were saying how it's not just about how somebody treats you, it's how they treat a waiter, how they treat people who are giving them some kind of a service. And I think they were talking about narcissists, but I think this could be extended towards anyone. And really being impressed by that and looking at that as being a sign of good character, I think is important. But Libra tends to represent being polite, being courteous, being thoughtful. And it's like not just about remembering birthdays and being able to send a card or buying a gift for somebody, but if somebody holds the door open for you, if somebody does a nice little gesture. I always notice when people don't say thank you, and I always think to myself, I wonder if there's a sense of entitlement, or they just don't see that somebody has done this thing for them and they didn't have to do it. I always wonder what goes through people's minds when they don't acknowledge that. And a sense of harmony, wanting to be, appreciating when people are getting along. How many times have we been in a situation where a person just seems to be stirring up drama for no reason. And beauty. Seeing the beauty in the world. You know, it's so easy to see the flaws, to see what isn't right. But can you see the beauty? And I wanna, you know, really impress this upon people, because harmony, beauty, and graciousness, these are qualities that we need to cultivate and that we need to appreciate in other people. Physical appearance, that, you know, Libra is connected to that. A lot of Librans may be physically attractive, and they may be attracted to that. It's overrated. It really is. And unfortunately, when people focus too much on that, they end up being shortchanged sometimes by other more subtle qualities that are really important as well. But it's so easy to get distracted by the outer quality, such as appearance. And I want, if somebody's looking for love out there, I want to just remind you of that, because inner beauty is something that you have to take time to find. And if you're just kind of dismissing people due to their physical appearance, you may really miss out on some gems, unpolished gems. All right? Okay, so let's look at some of the other things that are going on. So we're starting that new astrological cycle, and we're experiencing these cardinal signs of the sun and moon, and that makes us feel like taking action. I don't care if it's spring where you are or fall, you really feel this taking action. Now, where you are in the world may actually impact the kind of action you take. If it's spring, you might be trying to start new things. If it's fall, you may be trying to end certain things. And that full moon can be a time of letting go for sure. But like I said, because it's at 0 degrees, it may really feel more like a new beginning. And if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, the new beginning angle may really resonate with you. And on top of that, in April, when we have the full moon at 29 degrees of Libra, you may feel more like an ending then. So that's something that I just realized. And let's look at some of the other placements for the personal planets. Mercury is in Pisces at 18 degrees. Now, Neptune is at 16 degrees of Pisces. So we're talking about a conjunction right there. What can that mean? Well, the first thing that comes to mind is fake news. I was just speaking with my partner last night, and he was talking about how so much propaganda that is going on these days. And it's like, I was looking at old TV programs, and yeah, you can see even then that there was an agenda that was being pushed, but there was still a lot more genuine content. And now it's like you listen to something, you watch something, and you wonder what percentage of it is true. And this is something that we can see because of this conjunction. Mercury is communication, information. How much of it is fantasy with Neptune? How much of it is deception? Neptune. Okay? Some of you may be thinking, well, why would any kind of news entity want to promote deception? Because it furthers an agenda. The best way to really watch the news, if you really feel inclined to do so, is to listen with critical thinking skills really activated. Listen to what words are emphasized and repeated, and what the message that they are trying to give, what comes across with you? Are they trying to scare you? Are they trying to make you mad? Because it's not just about generating fear, but generating anger, outrage, okay? These are not higher vibrations. Fear is not a high vibration. Anger is not a high vibration. The fear-based mentality I got long ago. But now I realize about the outrage, and this can be any political stripe, anything. Anytime that somebody's trying to make you be outraged about a news story, about what somebody famous is doing or not doing, or a politician is doing or not doing, you really need to question that, because outrage is to me tied to the ego, because it's tied to judgment. How dare they? And I've been guilty of this a gazillion times. So I'm really seeing how I get triggered, how I get sucked into it, and how not to be in that place or that space. And one of the ways that you do it is by simply observing it as if you're watching it from a disembodied state. Because you don't want to get sucked in, because then you're just a part of it. And being a part of outrage isn't going to put you in a positive vibration. It's not going to make you feel hopeful. So you want to generate those positive feelings in any way that you can, and in any mode that you can. This morning, rather than turn on the radio, as I often do to listen to talk radio, I watched an inspirational video about spirituality. And I didn't watch it. I was actually listening while I'm washing the dishes, making breakfast, packing a lunch. And we can do these things. We can kind of change our routines so that we are taking in information that is of an inspirational nature. Now, that's exactly what we can do to kind of take advantage of this energy. Be at one, which is what a conjunction is, with spiritual information. We have Venus in Aquarius and Mars in Taurus, and they're exactly at 23 degrees. So they are completely squaring off to one another. Venus in Aquarius is about being everyone's friend. I have Venus in Aquarius in my natal chart, okay? Anyone out there who also has this knows that we would rather be friends with a lover than anything. You know what I mean? We tend to be kind of detached, and friendly but detached. And this is because we want to be universal. We're not interested in necessarily having this, okay, I'm going to be friends with you, but I'm going to exclude this person. And the more that you can cultivate this, I think it's really a great thing. Aquarius is a sign of the humanitarian. And so many people are very particular about who they give their affection to. I'm talking about in just a friendship sort of way. The friendship type of love is called agape. And to me, if you really want to not be prejudiced, if you really want to embody that, it isn't about not using racial slurs or having friends of a certain ethnicity. It's about being friendly to all living beings, okay? Loving kindness, as the Buddhists say. And it's not about, preferring one to another. It's about really treating people and having the ability to really talk to people as you find them. It's not about changing who you are when you're in one group of people with another, but having that consistency. At least that's my definition of it. And to me, that's what an egalitarian mentality is, which is what Aquarius represents, where it's like we're all on an even playing field. I know some people will say that isn't true. That's not really accurate, that we're not on an even playing field. But we're all children of God. And I personally, maybe it is because I have Venus in Aquarius, really like to experience people from different walks of life. And I really believe that I can relate to them and deal with them and not patronize people and not feel inferior to people either, which is kind of funny because it's not about groveling when you're in front of somebody who is in a position, that is considered higher on the food chain. I used to work in a school, and I think I really pissed off the principal, or I know I did because the way she said something to me once, because I said, I was trying to make the suggestion about something, and she goes, no, I don't need to do this. And she was, because how dare I? I mean, how dare I, make a suggestion of how we could improve things? I'm just a lowly peon, teacher assistant. So the thing is that it works both ways, not treating people who have a higher position as if they're better than you, not treating them with disrespect either. Some people rebel against authority figures because they feel like resentful. So it's a very interesting thing to explore, but I just wanted to bring that up. And Mars is in Taurus. Woo! That's lusty, because Mars is sex drive and Taurus is, sensual. And it's also about, pursuing pleasure. Do you deprive yourself of pleasure? Do you allow it into your life? I think the second chakra is associated with pleasure. And it's very interesting because in terms of assigning planets to the chakras, if I'm not mistaken, Jupiter is assigned to the second chakra. So if I'm correct about this, and Jupiter is a planet we associate with abundance, we in luck and, we can say that pleasure, when we allow ourselves to feel pleasure and whatever that means to us, we're also attracting abundance because we're not trying to deprive ourselves of anything. And Taurus is ruled by Venus, and it is, so here we have these two prominent positions here where Venus is involved, the full moon in Libra and Mars in Taurus. And how do we pursue our pleasure? I would even say following our bliss, where we are willing to acknowledge to life that we are deserving of not suffering. The Piscean age coming to an end, where we do not have to go through life as a victim, as somebody that deserves to suffer in our daily life, that we can actually go to work and work someplace that really feels like we're utilizing our talents, where if we're working with other people, that they respect us and we respect them, that there isn't this sense of me against you. And that too, to me, is Venus in Aquarius, where it's not about, some people would say, oh, you're talking about communism or something like that. And I'm sure that we could look at that. We could look at Aquarius and say that maybe the communal lifestyle, and that's where, communism, we're a collective for sure, but not that we are trying to say that everyone has to have equality on all levels, because we did come into this reality with our own backstory that comes from other lifetimes. So trying to make things monetarily perfectly equal, to me, is probably not spiritually wise. But We can have more balance. Libra and fairness. We can have more sense of wanting other people to enjoy what we have. And at the same time, we can say, I deserve to have happiness in my workplace as well as harmony in my relationship. And I don't have to feel that it's wrong to experience pleasure. Pleasure does not mean indulgence, where it takes it to a level of excess. But some religious paths, even some diets, some exercise routines, almost seem to punish the individual and say, no, you have to deprive yourself in order to meet your goal. And so I want you to think, how can I be balanced, looking at Libra and still experience pleasure? Okay, you guys, so that's what I have for you. I hope that you have an amazing full moon in Libra, an amazing astrological new year. Take care. Bye.